All right, let's talk foot strike. So, big kind of argument in the running world, of course, for quite a while now. But what we're trying to look forward to is get that natural foot strike happening. Because unfortunately, for most runners today, up to 90-95% of runners are predominant heel strikers. And that's not all our fault. Like, the reason why we tend to heel strike more than most is because of the shoes we wear, because of a sedentary lifestyle. Those two big things always keep coming up, and we've kind of deconditioned ourselves out of a natural running style to make us heel strike because it's easier in a way for the bodies we have today. So what we want to slowly do over the course of the program, and then as you continue with your running, is get you closer towards kind of a natural strike. All right, so big reason why we heel strike in the first place does come back to the fact of shoes, and you can really take it back to the 1970s, back in the US, where there was a big running boom. And Bill Bowerman, who was one of the co-creators of Nike, he was the Olympic running coach, and they hypothesized back then that a longer stride actually make you run faster. So they started doing this, and they realized that when they started going for a longer stride, that created a heel strike. And as we know, reading through all the notes, that longer stride with the heel strike is creating that braking force going backwards. But unfortunately back then, well, they were actually running in better shoes than we are today. They had the flat pumps, the flat soles, no heel, no support, but they started hurting themselves. So that's where Bill Bowerman got with Phil Knight with Nike and created this heel. And unfortunately, 50 years later today, we are still adding in this cushioned heel to allow us to heel strike. Now, you can still run perfectly in any pair of shoes. Doesn't mean you have to change your shoes. It's just that these shoes that are big cushioned heels, big stability stuff, allow us to perform a poorer running form. Because when you come down on your heel, it doesn't hurt because you can't feel it. But when you're running barefoot in a minimal shoe, barefoot shoe, you're gonna feel it. All right, so getting away from that heel strike is really beneficial. Like you say, the moment we land that foot in front of our center of mass, basically where the belly button is, that's creating braking force going this way. We're trying to run this way. It's basically like trying to run with the handbrake on. Not very efficient. So we need to, over time, build the awareness of how that's happening and take it away from there. All right. You can then also add in the whole sedentary lifestyle and all that. Because we lack this ability of hip extension from being stuck in this hip flex position, we can't get the leg further back. So we tend to be in front of our body more, overstriding, heel striking, and just being so much inefficient. So it's not all our fault for running with a heel strike, but we need to change it because every single time, again, we land that foot in front of that center of mass, there's about 2.5, even 3 times your body weight going down on that ankle, on that foot of your body load at each step. So that's going through predominantly a straight leg, which is through your ankle, through your knee, through your hips, through your spine, lower back, neck, everything. And it's just jolting. Add in that cushion and it jolts even more. And they say that's trying to help us. But the cool thing is we have big Achilles. We have big, strong calves. Most of us do, mine aren't that big, unfortunately. We've got the design there from our own natural body to allow us to take that load. When we put it into a cushioned shoe, cushioned heel, it takes away that natural absorption of that Achilles to spring us forward. It takes away that natural pronation of that foot to propel us forward again. So if you've got any kind of like orthotic or arch support in your shoe, you're stopping that natural mechanism, that potential energy to propel you forward. So you can really see what heel striking is doing to your running. All right, so over these next few drills, this is what we're going to start thinking about, trying to get that foot naturally landing where it wants to, okay?